Hello and welcome to today's Craft Your Stash, where we're going to be focusing on some of the fundamentals of our crafting here as paper crafters. It's paper, cardstock and vellum, and that's what we're going to be looking at throughout the course of this 1 hour show. Lots of tips and techniques from card making to box making, gift bag making and even envelope making as well. So whether you're a brand new crafter looking to learn some new skills, or perhaps you're a seasoned crafter just looking to sort of refresh your memory with all those different paper and card techniques, then this is the show for you. We've got lots of inspiration coming up throughout the course of this hour. Not just me on my own for this hour though, I am joined by somebody who loves paper, he loves cardstock and he also loves vellum, and that is Craig. Hello Craig, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good, thank you very much Lily. Yeah, looking forward to this one here where we're going to be touching upon, as Lily said, your paper pads as well as the vellum, as to what you can do with them. So maybe making a little gift bag. What about vellums, doing envelopes, even die cut with them, and then we can bring in paper pads using what I love to do of course, and that is bring in my nesting dies as well. So we're going to have nice little comprehensive little demos to show you how you can use your card and your vellums.
We certainly will. Lots and lots of inspiration coming up throughout the course of this hour, and hopefully lots of your questions that you might have been pondering over, we'll make sure that we answer those throughout the course of this hour show. But before we get into having a little look at 12 by 12 paper pads with Craig, I'm going to show you a couple of some of my favourite 12 by 12 paper pads that we brought to you in recent times here at Crafters Companion. And this first one is courtesy of the absolutely stunning Honeysuckle collection. This is an absolute beauty of a 12 by 12 paper pad, and it really illustrates perfectly what we do so well with our 12 by 12 paper pads here at Crafters Companion. If I just open this here to that first sheet within this 12 by 12 paper pad, you can see there you've got that beautiful design all over that full page. And if you look a little bit closer, you can see all of those different layers, right from the background where you've got that beautiful honeycomb design, all the way to the foreground where you can see all of those gorgeous flowers with the leaves and all of those extra little details intertwined into that design. Looks gorgeous just as that one full sheet, but think about how you can actually start to cut that down into different pieces, into different sections to create completely different projects. If I just take another paper pad here, just to cover up that bottom section, if we just focus on that top section of our paper pad there, then we can see we get a completely different look and feel just by focusing on that one section of the paper pad. Cutting off that bottom section entirely, it completely changes the look and feel of that paper pad. And that's the beauty of our paper pads here at Crafters Companion. We design them so that you've got all those different sections. You've got the 4 quadrants when it comes to our 12 by 12, so you can cut them down, and it's not just about using that full sheet perhaps in your scrapbook pages. You've got lots and lots of scope with our paper pads. As you can see here, the colour tones are gorgeous. You've got that really sort of layered design, more bold design on the front there. If we turn it over on the B side, you've got a slightly more muted, more subtle design on the reverse. It's going to complement absolutely perfectly, but if you needed something a little bit more stripped back, then the B side is the one to go for. If we flick through there, you can see all those gorgeous designs, and this is on uncoated paper, but we do also do some coated cardstock paper pads here at Crafters Companion. I'm going to quickly show you one that is part of our fabulous winter sale at the moment. This is our Cosmic Collection 12 by 12 paper pad. You guys absolutely love this one when we launched this just a few months ago, and you can see here these are all of those beautiful sort of intergalactic backgrounds there, but with a pearl finish. So you can see if we tilt that cardstock ever so slightly, you've got that gorgeous pearlescent shimmer and sheen onto each and every single one of those coated cardstock sheets. It just gives you that beautiful, really luxurious finish to each and every single one of those 12 by 12 pages into that paper pad. Absolutely gorgeous. So a little bit of a taster of the difference between your coated cardstock and your uncoated, but I know what you guys at home want to see is these paper pads in action. So we're going to go over to Craig for a little bit of a demo.
Oh yeah, so let's have a look Lily. Let's actually show you how you can make a really, really lovely slimlined gift bag here. Now when it comes to the actual making of the gift bag, of course you can come along and then you can then be adding things such as your ribbons and all of that. But how lovely is that? That might be a little thin, little delicate bottle. Maybe it might be a little smelly, maybe like your smelly wreaths or that. Those sort of things you're going to be able to pop in, and they're really, really simple. So we're going to go in, and I've just got some of our double-sided papers. This is actually our distressed 12 by 12. It's called the Distressed Florals. So I'm going to go in to start with. Now what I want to do, Lily, is I want to have a look at my actual paper. So I've got this the right way here, as if to say the design is starting at the top and it's working its way to the bottom as well. So what I'm going to do, let's look at the top here. So I'm going to turn that around and I'm going to score at the 1 inch mark. all we need is one sheet. This isn't one of those gift bags where you're going to need a few sheets. It's just one. So I'm just going to go in and just gently just now, I'm just going to slightly manipulate that over before I come along and then properly score it at the end.
Okay.
So now that I've scored 1 inch from the top, we're going to have a look at the bottom here, and we're going to then score 2.5 inches up. So we're going to come along 1, 2, 2.5. Now what I would say as well, always do, if you're using our Crafter's Companion scoreboards, always do it from the left hand side. That is what we class as the true measurement size, because if you're doing boxes, this is where you're going to do your box lid.
Okay.
So 2.5, and I like to go lightly and then a few times. And then that is now our top and bottom. So that's 1 inch, and then that is 2.5 inches. So what I'm going to do before we start to score the sides, we're just going to fold that over, use our bone folder, our burnishing tool, and give that a nice burnish. We're going to turn it around. It's always nice as well when you do these, Lily, on double-sided, because it just means if you are going to see inside the gift bag, which of course we will do, you're going to have a really, really nice inside as well. So we're going to give that a burnish, and then let's then open that one out. So we've got top, we've got bottom. We're then going to come back in with our scoreboard. Remember, we're always going to be going to that left hand side here with the score master. And what we're going to do is I'm going to then hold that in. If you want to tape it, by all means you can do, but it's really nice just to hold it. It's easy and it is sturdy in place. And then we're going to come along here at 2.5 inches. So 2.5 inches. Notice I've unfolded the top and the bottom. So 2.5 inches, we're going to go down like so. Then you want to score in at 3.25. So that is 3.25 inches from that score line I've just done, which would then make it 5.75.
Okay.
So let's go to the 5.75 mark that we can see here. And then we're just going to then give that a nice little score. And then what we're going to do here is we're just going to then press and hold. Going to give that a nice little burnish here as well. And then we're going to then go in with where we've scored there. I always like to score and then fold as I'm going. Okay. So now that we've gone in and we've scored the side, so we've gone in one score line at 2.5, we're then going to come along into the next score line, which is going to be 5.75. And then what we're going to do at this point here is we're at, of course, 5.75. So we need to come another 2.5 inches in. Okay. So we're just going to go 1, then we're going to then go 2. And notice with my score master here, Lily, notice how I've ran out of space here. I've not got any additional score lines. So what we can do is if you've only got a smaller score board, we can then just start to bring in a pencil. So as I said, so we are at our 5.75. So I need to add on 2.5. So I'm just going to go 1 inch. I'm going to go in 2 inch. Now what I like to do there is I just like to do a little pencil mark. Okay. And then of course I'm going to then just align that up to the center of my scoreboard, and then I just need to add on that additional 1/2 inch. So of course if I add that on, which is there, do a little pencil mark so I know, and then of course I can score down into position just here, and then that is a good way for you to then still be able to do your gift bags as you're using your smaller scoreboard. And then if I start to then just tuck this one around just here, let's then come along, and because of course that one there, the distance that we've got, we're just going to fold that over, turn it. I'm going to start to then go into the top. I'm going to then just come into the bottom, and what you'll see, this is now starting to assemble, and it's starting to create our gift bag. All we need to do is manipulate that one in, and then we also then just need to come along, do our little score line. So we're going to then add on that 1/2 inch. So we're going to go into the edge, because this is going to be our glue line. This is where we're going to add that glue line on, move that one out of the way, and then let's just fold that in here, like so, and then we just need to come along the bottom. So let's press that in. Let's go in. This is where, Lily, we're going to then bring in our adhesives.
Okay, yeah.
So we're going to create that nice sturdy top. So you know where we've got that 1 inch? Let's take our tape runner and then let's start from one end, and then we're going to then add our tape up to the top, fold that one in, give that a really, really nice burnish, and then we're going to bring our scissors because we need to create that base. And this is where we're going to use our score lines. Now, because we've scored up to 2.5, let's cut up to that 2.5 mark, up to that 2.5 mark, and then up to that 2.5 mark. If you're using pattern paper, just go back, follow that fold line, because sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to see. And then what you're starting to see, how this is starting to then come together.
Oh yeah,
you can
absolutely,
see
yeah.
all the way round. So what I like to do is I like to come along and on that glue tab, let's add our glue in here.
And Craig, in terms of adhesives, what would you say if you're creating something that's a construction piece like this? Would you always go for a tape pen, or is there any other adhesives that we could possibly use?
So, really good question, Lily. This is personal preference. So what you're going to then be able to do is follow along with that adhesive Craft Your Stash that we've done, and then you can follow along with your adhesives. Because what I've shown you within those ones is your tape runner. That's really good because technically this is a wet adhesive in a dry form. So it's personal preference. Either you can go for that one, Lily, or I do talk you through as well your tacky glue.
Oh, fabulous.
Now for me, as an old timer, although I'm still
An
young,
old timer,
when it comes to crafting,
not that
I'm
old.
still the original guy that goes with the wet glue because it dries into the fibres. But you can absolutely use your red liner tapes that we've shown you within Craft Your Stash, or you can use your red tape runners that we also talked you through as well. So you've got a couple of different options where all of these Craft Your Stashes will start to mix and match, and they'll all start to make sense with the glues, with the card, with the glues, with the vellum, the scoreboards, bringing in all of these, storing them in, of course, all of your storage bags. So all serves a purpose. So let's then start to fold this one into place here. All that we need to do now is then just come along with that last cut into there, and then this is what I like to do to create a nice stable base, Lily, without adding an additional layer. I like to fold one in first. So you can see here what I've done is I've folded one in, then I pop my side tabs, and then what I do is then I'll just fold that one over. So what we're kind of doing is we're creating an interlock kind of feel with those layers here. So instead of just going in here, here, and here, nothing wrong with that. What you're left with, I know it's harder to see, but we've got open flaps right there in the bottom. So to stop that, this is where you're going to come along and you're going to fold one in first, like that. Now this one and this one, we need to add our tape onto. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold that in to make it easier for me to show you. You don't need to fold them in. I'm just doing it so that you can see. And in actual fact, let's just show you where you can either be using your tape runner, like I'll do within this one here, there. So let's just get that one going. So we'll just start to get that one going. We're just going to then pull all the way from the start to the end. I'm going to refill my tape runner just shortly. Let's then add that one like so. There we go. So we can then open this one back up like that. And then let's start from what I was showing you. So let's pop that one in, close that one over. And then at the moment, it's still a little bit flimsy. Don't worry. Don't worry about that because we're going to press that down in a moment. And then this one here, as I say, you could either use your tacky or, of course, go in with your tape runner. We're going to do that one as well. Let's just add that tape. We're getting that one going. We're in a warm studio here that our tape runner
always the same.
Not playing. Let's then leave that in view so you know that you can be using that one. But then what we can do is now, of course, I wouldn't mix and match. You know, I wouldn't use some glue, you can do, you absolutely can do, but I prefer to either use one or the other. I'll either use my tape runner or I'll use that. I'm just kind of showing you how where we can then start to then link that craft your stash with adhesives and then show you how you can absolutely use both. Let's go in here and then we can then just start to fold that one in. Now remember where I said the middle can still be a little bit flimsy.
Yeah.
Remember craft your stash in our sprays?
Certainly do.
Come in here with the sprays and use that
Great
to press it down. You see, these tools aren't just for, of course, actually gluing things down. These are good to press. And even if you've got a little beveled edge there, turn it around so then you've got that flat lid of our sprays. That is now pressing all those layers together, whether of course it's the tape runner, whether of course it's the glue. And what I like to show you here, you can, if you want, put an additional score line there, Lily.
Okay.
But if you want to make it easier for yourself, don't worry about it. Just press it yourself.
Oh, easy.
The corners and the edges line up. Press it till as far as it goes down. Look, you still get a really nice, neat edge. It's like one of those professional gift boxes and gift bags that you buy within the stores. I'm going to do the same here again. We're just going to press that down, open that one up, pop our hand in there. We can now pop our gifts in there. We can pop our bottles in there. Hey, if you know a crafter and you want to treat them with some of your spray, why not pop that one in there? They're not going to know that. It's a perfect size. And then all you need to do with a hole punch, nothing fancy, just your ring binder paper punch that one through there, add that ribbon, and then of course you've got those beautiful little gift bags that you can create and pop any of your little gifts in there to then be given away to, of course, someone for their birthdays, their anniversaries, Valentine's. Do it in Christmas paper. There's Christmas sorted as well.
Wow, what an absolutely fantastic demo and littered with lots and lots of fabulous top tips. So even if you have been crafting for many years, I'm sure there's lots you can still take away from that demonstration. Now, just want to quickly share with you that beautiful paper pad. I know Craig has used this distressed florals in that demonstration, and what a beauty this one is. This is a 12 by 12 paper pad. It's uncoated, and with it being in that vintage style, if you want to add the inks, if you want to further sort of shabby chic this up, then by all means you can absolutely go in there and do that. You've got that beautiful print on that front side there. As we always say, it tends to be the case with our 12 by 12 and 6 by 6 paper pads here at Crafters Companion. That front side, the A side, has got lots and lots of layers to it. There's tons of interest. You've got your background, your midground, your foreground, all those little finishing touches to make that design really pop off the page. But if we turn it over to that B side, that reverse, it's complementary to that A side, but it's a little bit more sort of scaled back, a little bit more subtle. So great if you want to add more elements onto there to really sort of layer that paper up. It looked absolutely gorgeous with all of those layers, almost like your peeled paint designs on there. You've got your florals, your butterflies in that gorgeous, really vintage, shabby chic sort of design, distressed in look and feel as well. So if you've got your distress tools, then by all means go in and sort of distress the edges up of these paper pads. Absolutely gorgeous vintage imagery with your tickets, your clocks, all of those designs, and it's 180 GSM, and you just saw in that demonstration how perfectly it's scored. So if you are creating gift boxes, gift bags, it might just be mats and layers for your cards, you might be snipping into these, and with multiples of each and every single one of these sheets, it allows you to snip into it and then maybe decoupage onto the corresponding sheet there. Gorgeous, really muted colour tones within this one. It is your distressed florals. It's one of our latest and greatest 12 by 12 inch paper pads, all those florals. It's going to match perfectly with lots of dies you might already have in your crafty stash. It could be stamps, it could be decoupage that you've got, those kits that we all collect over the years. You could be mixing and matching that in. You could be bringing in your glitter paste even to sort of glitter this up a little bit. It could be glitter glues. You could be embossing onto these as well with it being uncoated. It gives you lots and lots of different possibilities, and with it being 12 by 12 as well, you've got tons and tons of space on there, and you just saw in that demonstration how you can use just the one sheet to create a gorgeous gift bag with just a few score lines, a little bit of folding, a little bit of sticking it together, and you've got a gorgeous gift bag. And that one is your Distressed Florals 12 by 12 inch paper pad, just one of our many 12 by 12s that we bring to you here at Crafters Companion. But we've talked all things 12 by 12, but it's not just about our 12 by 12 paper pads. Sometimes you're creating something a little bit smaller and you need a smaller paper pad, and 6 by 6 paper pads are perfect for the job. That's exactly what we're going to have a look at next.
Oh, we are, and we're going to do something that I absolutely love. I know that Lily is as well, and that is nesting dies.
Oh, yes.
Bringing in our nesting dies with our paper pads. So let's go in with this one here. So we're going to have a look at that majestic unicorn, and we're going to pick whatever one that we want. Let's go in with this one here, because what we're going to do is we're going to create a flat image, Lily. However, this is great if you want to go to the next level of doing things such as pyramage and paramounts with your, and all you need is things such as your foam pads or your glue gel that we covered within, of course, Craft Your Stash. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our image. Now I've brought in our square nesting dies. This could be circles, this could be ovals, this could be hexagons, octagons, this could be stars, hearts. It does not matter. It just means you're going to get a different look. So what I'm going to do here is I'm also going to bring in some of our linen cardstock. It's just a peachy tone because it ties in with, of course, the actual unicorn. So what I'm going to do here within this one, Lily, is the largest one. Let's then cut that with, of course, the peach.
Okay.
The next size down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to then pop into my chosen bit. Now, don't worry, this doesn't become waste. We're still going to see the whole lot. So let's turn that around so it's going to be the right way. Now we're going to build this up. So you would think you're going to need 5, 6, 7, 8 images.
Yeah.
No, you won't. We're going to be using that one image to get a really nice depth with the nesting dies and, of course, our paper pads. And this could be any paper pad. Doesn't have to be a main image whatsoever. And it doesn't have to be in the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that up here. So we're kind of centralizing within the middle of that unicorn. Then what I'm going to do is that next size down, we're going to cut also within linen. Then we're going to go in next side down, we're going to go the unicorn. Next one, I'm going to do linen. Next one, I'm going to do unicorn. Next one, going to do linen. Next one, unicorn. Next one, we're going to go in with the linen. And you keep doing that and doing that and doing that. If you want less kind of die cuts, what we can then do is then we can reduce the amount of levels. So let's pop them roughly all back. So the more dies you use, the more of the levels that you're going to get. So let's just roughly pop these ones back.
I mean, we were talking about storage on a previous Craft Your Stash. If you're looking at those large die folders, they're going to be perfect for storing nesting dies like that.
Absolutely, they really, really would be. So now I've gone back to what I'd done before. So large square nesting die linen card. Next side down, we're going to go in with the unicorn. Now I'm going to skip the next one. And then the next one, we're going to go linen. Then that next one, we're going to do unicorn. And then we're going to skip the next one. And then we're going to go back in now, so just make sure we've got the right sizes. Linen card, unicorn, skip. Then we're going to go linen card, unicorn, skip. And then just because we've got 2 left, let's go in here and pop all of these together. Now notice, my image, I'll use the one image with my nesting dies. For my linen card, Lily, I prefer just to use a full sheet because this is going to give each layer stability. So let's go in with our low-tack tape here. And this is where you can start to get creative, Lily. So if you want to go at different angles, if you want to go at directional angles, you can do. So we're going to go in with some of our low-tack tape here. And we just need little bits. And I'm going to do it all at once. So let's go in with the unicorn and tape it down. Let's go in with the next layer. Now I'm going to keep these straight because I am one that kind of likes straight lines and straight angles. You can mix it up if you want. So we're going to go into there, tape down. And if you're someone that's a little bit concerned about doing all of the die cuts at once, you can do these individually if you want to. Will take a little bit more time, but by all means, please feel free to do them individually so that you've got that comfort. Let's pop that one down. And notice just tiny little bits of low-tack tape. We don't need loads at all. And in actual fact, I think this is going to be lined up perfectly because I think this small, tiny little die is going to be framing the eye
I think you're right
of the unicorn. And then we can then pop that down. Alternatively, what you could do, Lily, is start with the smallest one. So you could start with the position that you want and then build outwards. So this is where you've got lots of creative scope here. So I'm going to then tape that one down as well. So I am just going to come into the side so it's central, but we're still capturing and framing that eye. So we're going to then just pop our tape to hold down here. Now we're going to run this through our Gemini. So because this is, Lily, simple dies, these are simple shape dies, I'm going to go base plate, I'm going to go frosted shim, and then I'm going to go top plate. I'm not going to put in my magnetic shim because that magnetic shim gives our Gemini the unrivaled pressure. I don't need all that pressure. If you're new, don't worry about that cracking. That straight die's been cut into the cutting plate, so that noise is normal. This at first is going to look like a little bit of a mess. And you're going to be going, oh my gosh, Craig,
what's he done now?
Are you creating? So we are going to then take each individual layer, so carefully prise these ones apart. And I'm going to reiterate again, Lily, this can be any paper pad. This could be an imaged paper pad like we've got here with the majestic unicorns. This could be a sentimental paper pad with wording or script work, or it could just be a really beautiful kind of patterned background paper if you want it to be. So that's all my main layers from my unicorn. So this is what I mean by how much it looks a little bit of a mess and how is that going to come together? But it will, I promise. So then let's bring these in here. So if I bring now, and the only reason I'm going to jump to my large plates, Lily, is because I've got more cuts to do. If you've got your smaller plates, you can still do the same I'm doing here, but what you would need to do is, of course, a couple of passes. So we're going to take those ones, and I'm going to do the same. Base plate, we're going to go frosted, and then we're going to then come along with our top plate. Tape them down if you want to, if you feel nice and secure, taping them down, and then running them through. Because the dies that we've used, that peach tone, they are one size bigger than the image. So this is going to give us our mats and layers. So I'm going to then take these ones, then let's move all of those. And this is where you start to see it come to life. And this is where and why I've gone and cut solids, because this is going to give us our stability. Because these, a little bit flimsy. By popping that together, it's going to then strengthen it up. So we're going to start, and we're going to glue these together, but I want you visually to see where we're going with this. So if we pop each layer on top of each layer, what we're starting to get is that really nice, delicate matting layer, but it's like a little trick on the eye, because what you still see is the image of the unicorn. So if we go into there, and then even the small one with the eye, so that one can go into here. And then all that we need to do is let's take our tape runner. So we're going to take each of these. So let's pop our little bit of adhesive on the back here. And then we're going to then pop that into the middle. Now, this one can, of course, be used with our wet glues that we talked you through within Craft Your Stash. So we're just going to go in each of these individual layers. We're going to then pop into the mats and play with the colours. It doesn't have to all be one tone of colours if you don't want it to be. You can then go in with maybe your purples, or maybe go in with your lilacs, or maybe go in with things such as your mints if you want to. So just play, and then we're going to pop that into there.
Even something like a mirror card or a black card.
Do you know something? That would be so lovely. What I'm going to do, and we'll just show you this as well, I just need to sort my tape runner. So I'm just going to take that one off here, take that cap off, because I do like to use my tape runners for my mats and my layers. So let's just sort that one, get that one going, and then what we're doing We're going to then fold that over, press that in. So we now know with our new ones, and I know this is reaching into a little bit of the days of craft your stash, but it's good to show you even mid-project at home, you can then start to face any of these little temperamental issues. It happens to us, so let's show you how to rectify it, like I've done here. So let's press that in. I'm going to go back to this one and just add that bit more tape there. See how now this is working like wonders.
It's always the same at home as well. You're always halfway through a project when you run out of your adhesive,
Exactly.
you run out of your glue. It's never at the end of a project. It doesn't wait till you finish your card.
Never.
It's always halfway through. So it's good to see exactly what you need to do to deal with that.
Well, that's it. Happens to us all.
Certainly does.
So let's then take that last layer and then we can then pop that on into place just here. So that's all our flat layers done. So if you want to then pop them on flat, then you can do that, of course, with your tape runners. So all we need to do is let's go and add our tape around the edges. Now you might want to mat and layer that onto a little bit of peach or maybe a different colour. But what I'm doing visually, see the top of the unicorn? I'm just matching that up. Even although we've got that block of peach, we're still just matching up that image and pressing that in. Take the next size down. We're going to add the tape all the way around, or your glue gel or your foam pads. And again, pick something. So I'm going to go kind of into the nostril, the nose of the unicorn. Visually just lining that up like so. We're going to come in with the next one, add the tape because I'm keeping it flat, and then as well just have a look, and then sometimes if you need to then just twist and turn, there's the ear of the unicorn, so we're going to align that one up.
This would be a great one for posting as well, because it looks like it's got a lot of dimension.
Exactly.
It's actually totally flat.
Exactly. And notice as well, it makes it easier to line up because I've kept it straight. I've not gone at wonky angles or different angles. We're going to do the same. Line that one up, and then let's go in with the eye. Let's add that one on. Let's bring that one in here, like so. And then that is how, with ease, you can then start to form your visually, that's like your decoupage. It's more, of course, your pyramid if you were to add that with glue gel and foam pads. But if you go right into the centre, look at that on a bigger scope. You can add your bow and your sentiment. That can go onto a card blank with a sentiment, but notice you still see the eye of the unicorn. You still see, of course, the ears. You see the floral. You see every bit of detail, but visually, those nesting dies are pulling your eye in to the center where you can see the whole lot, and that you can do with absolutely any paper pad that you've got. Really make it, well, raise a level or two.
It looks absolutely incredible, doesn't it? And talk about making your paper pads go an awfully long way. That from just one sheet of that gorgeous 6x6 inch paper pad, which I've got here. This is a majestic unicorn 6x6 paper pad. A little bit different to perhaps our usual paper pads in that it's almost like a topper pad, if you like, because each and every single one of these 24 sheets have got one main focal image that's occupying that full space on that 6x6 inch sheet there. It's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look at the sort of movement and depth and dimension you've got to that image there, but it's completely and utterly flat. It's all just been printed onto that gorgeous pearlized paper. You've got all of those designs. You've got 12 different designs with 2 of each. So if you do potentially perhaps want to keep one of the layers as it is, sort of in its full form, and then snip into the second layer and decoupage it over the top, then absolutely you can be doing just that, or going in with a technique like Craig's just shown us by using your nesting dies and bringing out that sort of pyramage look to your paper pads. It looks absolutely incredible, but all of this artwork, all of these 12 designs got such richness to the colour tones there, which is helped in turn by that beautiful pearlescent sheen. So it gives you that really luxurious, really opulent look and feel with all of those designs in that paper pad. Something quite mystical, quite magical, quite fantasy if you like with this paper pad, but gorgeous for all those different techniques, or just popping a sentiment perhaps onto there, a little bow, and you've got a beautiful card made in literally minutes. And that's the fantastic thing about having these like statement topper style images to your paper pads. This one being your Majestic Unicorn, an absolutely gorgeous paper pad. You'll find this 6x6 paper pad and many more paper pads in the 6x6 size and of course in the 12x12 inch size over on the website. We'll give you just a few moments to have a little peruse of the website. Perhaps you're going to be checking out that winter sale or just stocking up on your paper pads. I'll be back in just a few moments for even more inspiration. Next up is the turn of Vellum.
Come in, check my emails, then lay the shows out in the studio, set pack shots up. Then I will get new polls, pick shows, solve any problems that need solving. We deal with other teams where we receive marketing suites, we receive boards. We pick samples to send to Hobby Maker. We pick samples to send to QVC. We will take the previous shows out of the studios, set the new shows up. We do floor manage occasionally, not all the time, making sure that the craft expert presenters have everything at hand that they need. Anything that they haven't got during shows, we will run about and get the products for them. I think on a morning when it's really quiet, I can get more done when there's nobody else in the building. Night owl. Morning. Coffee on a morning, tea the rest of the day. Savoury. Normally lunchtime. Craft along. Mobile phone. Christina's chicken wrap. Barry White, you're my first, my last, my everything. Go home and make the tea.
When I'm working, it's quite busy because I have to get up really early to come in to work if I'm going to be travelling from London. But otherwise, I'm quite lazy. I spend a lot of time in bed. Best part of my day is when we come in and I get to see everybody. I really enjoy being up here. It's really nice to see all my friends, and this is my happy place. I do like to see everyone, and also, of course, if Christina's in, I'm getting my breakfast from Christina before I start the day. Early riser without a doubt, never a night owl. I'm in bed at 9:30. Bath at night, shower in the morning. I'm very clean. Tea, the colour of He-Man. Both. I like pancakes with bacon and maple syrup. Craft along because there's always a softer side to craft along. My phone, my life is my phone. Yeah, the phone and the dog, unless I'm coming up here and I can't bring the dog in. My favourite lunch isn't lunch, my favourite lunch is afternoon tea. That's what I'd like, lots of selection of sandwiches, some scones, or scones, some cream and jam, and some little cakes. But I couldn't have it every day because I'd be the size of a house. Oh, that changes to the moment. My favourite song at the moment is Natasha Bedingfield, Unwritten. Or make myself a cup of tea and go and have a bath.
Hello and welcome back to Craft Your Stash, and this hour we've been focusing on card, paper, and next up it's the term of vellum. I know a lot of you guys at home often ask us, how do you use vellum? What's the advantages of vellum? Well, we're going to step you through lots of different techniques, lots of different hints and tips using vellum to hopefully inspire you to get crafting with vellum in your crafty stash. So over to Craig, what have you got in store?
Right, well, let's do exactly that. Let's have a look at vellums here. We're going to make a really nice, cute little card, but what we're going to do is we're going to make an envelope as well,
Ooh.
but with vellum.
Ooh.
So what we're going to do, take any of the vellums that you've got. They could be pattern, they could be plain, they could be coloured, whatever you want, but we're going to go and take one from what was our fuchsia range. Now, this is going to be, Lily, an envelope that's going to be 6 by 4.
Okay.
So what we need to do is we need to cut it down to 7.5 inches. Now let's just say that you don't have a big guillotine, you've only got a small one, or you've only got a V-blade paper trimmer, or you've only got a craft knife and ruler. What we can do, because the small doesn't go up to, of course, 7.5 inches, using what we've got. Now we can see along the bottom here, we've got, and I am just going to then move it to give it a helping hand here, bring in the pencil again. So we're going to come along and we're going to do a mark at 7.5, and then of course I need to do it here as well, 7.5. Now I'm going to do it at the top here, only because if I do it here, I'm going to end up cutting it off.
Ah, yeah.
So we're going to go in now. So even although our small guillotine only goes up to 6 inches, I've got my 7.5 mark that I can now cut to the size that I need, go into my additional mark. So without the aid of a big guillotine or any of your big cutting implements, we are able to make it the size we want with the tools that we've got. Now what you are going to be needing is an envelope box creator here.
Okay.
So we're going to take it. Now this is going to be a flat envelope, so we don't need to get into the worry of all the different depths and measurements. All we need to know for this one is we're going to use the very first flat 90-degree corner. So we're going to go in and then we're going to pop that into the side here. Now I've already checked out the grids, so I need position D and H. So we're going to do 1 and then flip to the opposite. So what I mean by that is we're going to score at position D, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do position D again on the opposite side. So let's turn that around and score at position D. And then these two is when we're going to use the additional letter. So we're going to pop it in 90-degree into the corner, and then now we're going to come along and score at position H. So you're just going to go E, F, G, H, and then we're going to score, and then we're going to do exactly the same on that opposite side. Turn it around, pop it in, go into position H, and score. So once again, Lily, 4 by 6, that is our 7.5 by 7.5. And then I've gone in and I've scored at D and D, and then H and H. So move that out the way, and then what we can do is gently, although your vellums can be really robust, but we're just going to go in and we're gently going to then just fold that along that score line that we've just created. So we're just going to use my hand to start with, and then we're going to go in with the additional line that we can see just here. So I'm just going to then fold along, and if you need to go along and then enhance the score lines, you can do, but we're just going to press, and then you can see we've got that envelope shape starting to come. Yeah. Let's then open that up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go along and fold in.
And in terms of scoring vellum, do we use the same sort of tools that we do for cardstock, or do we need to bear anything else in mind? Or
No, what you've got for your card, you use for your vellum as well.
Oh, perfect.
Even when we touch upon the adhesives, we'll show you in a second, everything. So you don't need other tools, you don't need other adhesives. You can use what you've already got. And then if I open this one up, if I start to fold in again, you're going to see that you're going to start to create that envelope, whereas it comes together. How cute is that?
That's lovely.
So let's take, Lily, our adhesive. Now you can use your tacky, you can use your red liner, or of course you can add your tape runner. Going to pop my little bit of adhesive, and then we're just going to give that a press and press in. Now you can either fold that in, or what you can then do is you can then leave it so it's nice and flowing. So what I mean by that, let's just open that one up here. You can either tuck this bit in, or I personally like to leave it like that. Okay. For me, it just makes it look a little bit more handmade by just having that little bit. But if we turn that around, press that in, we've got that really, really cute 4x6 envelope. But then what about taking a little 4x6 card blank? So we've got a 4x6 card blank, and I've taken a piece of pattern paper. However, that could also, Lily, be vellum if you want.
Yeah.
But look at the difference. So that's on a deep shade of card. So you can see you've got that real depth of colour within the fuchsia, which this just happens to be the one I'm using. But then when you go onto a white, you can see that difference in contrast when it comes to the image of your vellum. So we're going to stick with just some pattern paper that I've got. And what's also really good to do with vellum, and that's tear it. Tear your vellum. So let's pop that into there. And then we're going to come in with a strip of vellum here, and then we're going to tear. You're going to get a nice white edge. Don't be neat, don't be precise. If you try and be neat and precise, you won't be. So there's no point trying. Just go with the flow and then tear your vellum. What we're doing is we're just going to pop that over the top there. We're breaking up that base image. And then what you can start to do, a lot of people forget about with vellum, which happens to be a coloured vellum. Lily, start to die cut.
Oh, wow.
Die cut them in the same way that you would die cut your cardstock. And this goes back on that really good question you asked a moment ago about tools when it comes to vellum. It's the same with die cuts, nothing different to what you've already got. Plate configuration, machines, they're all exactly the same. You don't need to change anything. You still then are enabling yourself to build up the depth. This one happens to be a daisy die. So we've teamed the daisy with the vellum. We've gone in the centre with a bit of cardstock. So we've got the best of both worlds, which we can then start to position here. And then I've also got just some additional little foliage bits that I've die cut within white and then gone in with some green pens. You could, of course, just come along and cut within green cardstock. But this is what a lot of people ask for. How do you hide the adhesive? Because sometimes it can be seen. The adhesives can be seen. So either add gems and petals in the corner to hide the drops of adhesive, or hide the adhesive with your die cuts. So what I mean by that, let's go into here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop my adhesive on the back here, Lily. So let's take our tape runner, so or your glue, whatever one you want. And what's really good with your vellums, leave it free flowing. Now what I mean by that, if I press that in, see these edges here, Lily?
Yeah.
Leave them free flowing.
Ooh,
Leave them, maybe you want to come along with maybe some of your tools, maybe you want to come along and just curl them slightly, give that a little bit more depth, that little bit more edge, but without adding any cost or weight to your card.
Oh, that looks lovely.
So
How
it looked
expensive
really,
does that look?
really nice. And to be fair, you can't really see the adhesive.
No, you
but
can't.
if you could, what you're then going to do, add your adhesive again in the same place and hide it with your floral. And then we're going to come along. What we can then do is when it comes to your adhesives, we could use our dotty tape runner that I talked you through, or you can come along with your tacky glue. And the reason I'm going to use my tacky glue here, Lily, is just so that I can come along and then I can move that just under about there, get that into place. Even your vellums will have your glue dry and clear, so you're not going to see them. And then let's just tuck that one under, give that a little bit of a wiggle, press that in here, and then let's come along with the envelope. And then let's just tuck that one in here. I just snipped off that little point there a moment ago. Let's then tuck that one in. 4x6 card. So there is your 4x6 envelope, Lily, with your 4x6 card blank, with your vellum strip, your vellum flower. All you need to then do is just come along, maybe add a sentiment, matte and layer it even with a little bit of vellum if you want. And that's a great way to use your vellums with your cards and your projects.
Wow, doesn't that look Absolutely incredible. Using that fantastic scoreboard alongside your vellum allows you to create the most luxurious, most elegant, the most expensive looking envelopes I think, quite frankly, I have ever seen. And in order to do that, of course, you're going to need your vellum. And like Craig says, you can use your printed vellum, you could use your plain vellum. It's completely up to you what sort of vellum you're going to use. But you also will need something like this, a scoreboard. And in Velobox Creator Scoreboard is exactly what we've got here. And this is an ingenious little piece of equipment here. First thing to point out is these little notches at the top there. No, a mouse has not had a little nibble of this this scoreboard. It is supposed to be like that, I do promise you. This is because it works hand in hand with your Ultimate Pro. So of course, you don't have to have your Ultimate Pro, but if you do, that does just slot into your Ultimate Pro for easy storage, and you can keep all your scoreboards in one place. If we move down to that lower section of the board there, alongside each and every single one of those score lines, those indentations into the board, those grooves, you've got letters alongside each of them, and they actually correspond to the sort of measurements and the letters you'll find as part of the instruction manual that goes with this. It matches the lines with the size of envelopes you want to create, tells you exactly where you need to score that piece of cardstock, what size you need to cut it to create your different sizes of envelopes. But the thing that makes this board a little bit different is this top section here. These sort of little steps, as you can see at that top bit, these are what allow you to create an actual Envelobox rather than just an envelope. So Enveloboxes, I've got a little bit of depth to them, basically a cross between an envelope and a box. So it allows you to pop perhaps cards with lots of layers, perhaps you've got really tall decoupage that wants to go into an envelope, then by all means you can create those deep envelopes, those Enveloboxes, using that fantastic technology that's built into this board. One final thing to note on this fantastic scoreboard, at the top there, you can see you've got a few of those little decorative icons. Those have been designed to actually further embellish your envelope flaps. So you can see you've got those two little lines on either side of each of those. That allows you to slot in the flap of your envelopes. You can start to add a little bit of decorative dry embossing to your envelope flaps to really finish them off beautifully. It's a fabulous scoreboard, whether you're using it with vellum, whether you're using it paper or cardstock. It's an essential to have in your crafty stash, especially if you make your own card bases. You need to make your envelopes to go with them and to match with them, and this is the scoreboard to do it with. Now, we've had so much inspiration throughout this hour. We've had paper, we've had card, we've had 6x6, 12x12, we've had decoupage, we've had pyramide, we've had vellum. We've had it all. Craig, should we have a little recap of exactly what we've been making throughout the course of this hour show?
Shall we? Yeah, isn't it really nice to see all the different things that you can do? We can show you all these different ideas, step you through the steps, then you can come further along in embellishment and add things to them that you so wish. So we had our little gift bag, of course. I showed you with our Score Master how you can create them by scoring, burnishing and then gluing them together, which you can come along with your own ribbon and just start to then pop your ribbon through the top. What a lovely way to give a nice little gift to someone. You know, it could be a nice inexpensive gift, and that's the thing, gifts can be inexpensive, Lily. It's the time that you've put in to actually making the card or the gift bag. So we've got our little gift bag, which was done from one sheet, remember, one sheet of 12x12, and you could ink, you could spritz, you could die cut, you can embellish, you can still do more that you want to, or leave it as it is. Then what we've done, and what would be really, really nice, Lily, is we then talked you through, of course, how you can then start to create that pyramid, that pyramage, that all those different effects you can do with your papers. That was a lovely little 6x6. That was using our Majestic Unicorn and our square nesting dies. Now you can then add them flat, and then with the finished example here, we've gone in and we've used different sizes, and I purposely wanted to show you how you're going to get a different look. If you used all the nesting dies I showed you, that's the look you're going to get. If you skip every third one, you're going to get more of that fuller image there. But could you imagine if you were to take the complimentary 12x12 pad with the Majestic Unicorn and do what I done there, you would then have a lovely gift bag that's going to match the card that comes along with, of course, those pads.
Wow.
Then what we've done is we then came along and I showed you by scoring how to make lovely 4x6 envelope with the vellum, which of course you could do exactly the same with your card. There's the one that I done previously, whereas what I done is I just chopped the end. As I said before, I like to leave the point. It's up to you, but that's the look that you get should you then either chop it off or fold it in. So you've got your 4x6 envelope, and then to make a really cute little card, or what about slimming that down a little bit smaller, and then that could be a nice little gift tag for, of course, the present that you've made. But taking your vellums, doing that strip on the back there where we've torn it, not cut it, not being precise, just torn it. Our dies, we can come along and die cut the same way as we would do with our cardstock, and then just start to finish that off. Not all cards need sentiment. Maybe it's just a because card. You could give it away with a sentiment or without a sentiment, and it's about hiding the adhesive. The adhesive is underneath, and I personally like to leave that kind of free flowing. So we've gone in with our vellum card and envelopes. We've also then gone in, of course, with our 6x6 and our nesting dies, and then we've also gone along with our gift bags that you can see here, where we've then covered 12x12, we've covered 6x6, as well as your vellums as well. So really, really lovely little 1 hour section showing you these different things that you can then take what we've shown you and what we've taught you and start to pull in all your other Crafter's Companion goodies, and let's face it, all the other crafting brands that you spend your hard-earned money on using our products and our tools.
Absolutely, and that's what Craft Your Stash is all about. It's about showing you techniques that perhaps you've never seen before, techniques that perhaps you've not seen for a little while, and revisiting those techniques, but just giving you the skills, giving you the tips, the techniques, the crafting knowledge to take those techniques forward into your own crafty stash and start to create some absolutely fabulous things. Today we've had some amazing techniques showed with paper, card and vellum. Thank you so much, Craig. It's been truly inspirational.
Thank you, Lily.
I know I've learned quite a lot, and I hope you guys have learned an awful lot at home too. Make sure you stay tuned. We have tons more Craft Your Stash shows coming up throughout the course of this week. Lots of different techniques, lots of different crafting disciplines, everything from storage to paper to adhesives, and so much more in between for you guys at home to learn from. I hope you've enjoyed this show, and I hope you'll join us again very, very soon. Goodbye.